All right, welcome back. And we once again, as we do whenever we have a general meeting coming up with the Terrebonne Parish Council, also we have committee meetings. We have Darren Guidry, who is the council chair, and we'll go ahead and show Darren and our guest right now. Of course, Darren is District 6, and also Steve Trusclair, Terrebonne Parish Council, District 9. Of course, Steve served as chairman also. So I got two guys with a lot of experience up here on the council. First of all, thank you all both for being here. We appreciate it.
It's a pleasure, Martin. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin, for having us.
All right. So once again, just to be transparent to the public, what's coming up on this go-around? Anything on the Public Services Committee or the Budget and Finance that we need to discuss before moving to the general meeting?
The only thing I wanted to mention is that we do have an item that we're going to assign David A. Waits engineers to begin to do an engineering process to harden the shoulders of Savannah Road. As you know, Savannah Road is a narrow road, and people go off all the time, and it creates major ruts. I know Councilman Trosclair has that same issue in some of the roads he has. In fact, on Country Drive, I know, is one of those issues. But on Savannah Road, they're going to try to add asphalt to, I guess, a foot or two of the shoulder in order to prevent the grade all from having to go there constantly and do it. And hopefully we can do the same thing, if it's not already in the process, with Country Drive and some of the areas, and Mr. Trosclair, who, by the way, is also our Community Development and Planning Committee Chair this year.
And I got to poke a little fun. Whenever you said Savannah Road, I remember when people would pull off into near the ditches just so they could catch the crawfish that were coming out of the marsh. Remember that? They were crossing the street and they had plenty of crawfish in those
One
days.
interesting story, Martin, on Savannah Road. When I first got elected, I got a bunch of phone calls from residents saying that the garbage men were throwing their garbage cans on the side. They weren't setting them upright because they said they were upright, then they're empty, and they're thrown all over the place. And we kept going to the video, and the video showed that, no, they set them upright. We couldn't figure out what was going on until one time we had a person just sit on Savannah Road. Because it's so narrow, we saw the cane trucks. When the cane trucks would pass next to the garbage can, the wind wake of the cane truck would knock the garbage cans
Right,
over.
yeah.
And we finally figured out that. So hopefully this little widening project will
Well,
at least help keep the garbage cans straight.
At least you didn't say it was Bigfoot.
Actually,
So
I've got a little story
we're
about
good.
garbage cans too. I spoke to Roddy Mathern, who was one of the owners of Pelican Waste, and he said Morgan City, they have a contract in Morgan City, bears take the garbage cans. And they had one instance where this property owner, thought somebody had stole his garbage cans, and we on his camera, he saw the bear was actually pushing it down the road, and it was gone. They said it was several months he couldn't find the garbage can, and he happened to go hunting in the woods, and about 300 yards out in the woods, he found the garbage can. And they actually have to bear-proof the garbage cans in Morgan City.
Maybe those bears would be good on those trucks, huh? All right, so in all seriousness, we move now. Anything left on the budget and finance or public services before we move to the
I
general?
think the rest on those are rather boring and just formatic.
All right, good. All right, so let's move to Wednesday night's meeting. What do you see on that agenda that the people would be interested in, besides everything?
Well, I have an agenda on an item on the agenda, and it's actually it's recognizing the accomplishments of students at the Votech School. You know, we watch media, we listen to news, we read news, and you know, we see a lot of negativity. And I like to showcase the positive youth in our area, what positive aspects that the youth of our area come up with, and it's amazing to see, a place in Homer, we've had on this agenda item, we gonna be giving certificates to students, to all the students that actually participate. I think there's a total of 19 students that participate in the state competition up in North Louisiana, but we had several of them that won gold medals, 7 that got elected to state boards, state positions. We got gold medals, bronze, silver medals, bronze medals. And that's quite a few of our students in the Votech School. So, I want to recognize these guys and girls that put the effort into their, not only their book academics, but only their hands-on academics, because, being in the, marine industry like I am, and also any, a lot of our industry are hurting for hands-on technicians. We don't have a lot of people, we keep stressing to our kids to get, college educations and which we definitely, support them and acknowledge those guys for doing this. But we definitely need the vocational VOTEC training that this school is offering to our kids. And, I wish we'd have more of them, because it's making industry strained to try to find employees. As the older generation are retiring and moving out of the industry, it's getting harder and harder to get people to fill these positions.
Yeah, and just going to the break, every time we have workers here that are working on the roofs or different things, they all have gone through the VOTEC. So they do get a great education in a different realm, but boy, they are so talented and they do a great job. It's taking additional contractors, and I know in planning and zoning, y'all trying to come up with some plans, because Hurricane Ida's really just caused a bunch of new problems, but y'all are trying to get through it.
Definitely, this currently been, I guess, not a delay, but it has been a challenge for permitting to go through the sheer number of permits that we were receiving at the moment. Now that everybody's getting their either FEMA, SBA, or insurance money, and beginning their repairs or their new construction, it's all hitting at the same time. And so we have people who might be doing other things in permitting, who are now helping out with, helping the guys review plans. Our inspectors, I know, are tremendously busy. And so one of the items on our agenda tonight is to authorize our parish president to execute a service agreement with Desire Lines LLC to help assist our permitting and planning department in processing some of these applications. And it's just, I know I'm getting phone calls. I don't know about Councilman Trosclair, about people who, stories of people who have applied for permits and who just, it's, they're in the queue.
Well, and that's the one thing, Steve, as you noted, when people are ready to build a shed or a house or whatever, they don't want to wait a long time.
Well, a lot of times, it took them forever to get a contractor lined up. So, once they got the contractor lined up, they got to get their permits and everything. And, so we doing so many, not only permits, but for every permit, you got multiple inspections. So you have, you have to get people out to do, preliminary inspections, initial inspections, depending on the project, midterm inspections, and then final inspections. So, and then one inspection might, if it's delayed, then it delays everything else. If you need electrical inspection, and everything's done electrically, well then you can't get your power turned on until that inspection's done. So now energy's held back up. So the whole process is, and it's really bad, because it's not, it's bad. It's not. I haven't got a lot of calls. I've gotten several, but we need to help move this thing along quick as it is, because I do know in areas there are some backups.
Right. And Darren, coming back to you, things run pretty smooth, but then when you get and I'm going to call it a Cat 5, because it is a Cat 5, when you get Ida to come in town, it just throws everything off, and you do need help in a lot of different arenas, don't you?
No doubt, and we have a great department, and I think people had gotten used to when you were ready for an inspection, that inspection happened within 24 hours. And I mean, our guys were really good with that. Mm-hmm. It's just physically impossible to do that type of service right now. It's, and so we need as much help as possible, and you have to bring in, outside sources to do that. And it's just temporary. Eventually the numbers will go back and it'll be a little more normal. But right now, hopefully the employee of this Desire Lines LLC will help out.
And just also to mention, I know we're moving a little off the agenda, but the workers of Terrebonne Parish also have homes, and they also have families, and they also have damage. So you got to give them a little time to take care of their own items that they need to. So I'm sure they're exhausted on me, and I'm sure it's like that in many industries, but that's why it slows down, doesn't it?
Well, and I got a phone call from Councilman Trosclair. You know, you think we would know things, but he had to go to the permitting office, and he was calling me, and we don't even know sometimes where things are, because permitting is not in the office that they used to be, because the second floor of the council, the government office, can't be used. So, Mr. Trosclair, you figured out their location. You told me. Why don't you let everybody know where the location of permitting is if they need to visit them?
That's correct. I had to go to permitting office and to apply for a permit, and I actually went to the second floor. Guys there.
Just out of habit.
Yeah, and the people that do occupy part of the second floor, they couldn't tell me where it was. They said they're not here anymore. So I actually had to call the council clerk, and I think after the second call, the second council clerk, I found it, because Keith, our council clerk, he runs there periodically, so Tammy got me with Keith, and Keith told me where it was, the old Brady building across the bayou. But yeah, I mean, so I'm sure we were told that somewhere along the line, but it didn't register.
It's on a list of 1,000 things.
Exactly.
Trust me, I know. And that's why I'm never too critical of when you don't get information during this time, because people are inundated with all kind of stuff, Darren, anything? We've got about a minute left. Anything else we need for the general meeting on Wednesday?
The only thing we have is to ratify that lease with that piece of property on the corner of what we call the Smoky Row area on Boulanger Street to help facilitate that little pedestrian park. We closed down Boulanger Street and make it a pedestrian area as part of our downtown revitalization.
Yeah, and that's a key part down there, especially if you want to get a beignet right across the street, So, well, I appreciate it. And Steve, thank you for coming in
Thank
today.
you, Mark, for having me.
As always. And once again, this is to be transparent with the public here in Terrebonne Parish. And if you want to come on, and talk about council activity, Darren is the council chair. Give him a call. We welcome you, and we appreciate y'all coming in. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll take a short break. We'll have a lot more here on HTV. Don't go away.